Good evening, everyone out there. Welcome to the show. Thanks for watching, and you're watching Seeing the Unseen. This is a lovely evening. So, also, just a quick note, happy World Otter Day to everyone. I saw that it came up online. Somebody decided that today is World Otter Day. So, happy that to all of you there. Now, quick thought, we're going to be gone for the next couple of shows. So Sunday and Monday we won't be live, but coming back, anyone who pays for the month will get double readings. So that being said, anyone out there joining us, of course, if it's your first time or any time at all, be sure to say something in the chat so I know you're here. The first time, of course, there's no charge, but going forward after that, it's $10 per card. But it really is a bargain to pay the $100 and cover the entire month, which we run 3 shows per week. It's Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Arizona time. So tonight's title, Order of Melchizedek. There's quite a bit to say about that, but Melchizedek was the first priest in the Bible, mentioned in the Bible, and well, there's a psalm, Psalm 104, that part of it is, "Thou art forever a priest after the order of Melchizedek," and there's this idea of what a priesthood is, and Christopher will expand on this more in a moment, but there's this concept of light and darkness that is what we're all worshiping when we practice religion. It's creating this light within ourselves, which each and every one of us as human beings are emanating light. We've talked about this before on the show. We're actually on the not visible to us spectrum emitting photons, and depending on our mood and state of mind, we're emitting different types of photons. So just a quick reminder to everybody, be more aware and mindful of the photons you're emitting, and let's all do our best to emit more love. Thanks for listening to me. Enjoy the show. Here's Christopher.
Great blessings to you. This is to remind you, you're not alone. Keep going. Keep going. And as Kenan said, light and darkness are not opposite of each other. Darkness is simply where there's no light. That's all it is. You turn on the light, darkness gone. It does not exist because the photons take over. So when you get frustrated, angry, I've talked about you either contract or you're expanding. Let's think of those as your light. Let's think of it as your photons. This atomic structure that makes up your body, it's even smaller than the atomic structure. We're all empty space. We're all photons of light. So when I talk about expanding your field, you're expanding your photons. And that dispels the darkness of frustration, anger, depression, sadness, whatever you want to call it. It immediately expands your energy field. You can take a minute and just imagine it. Just imagine your energy field expanding. So that's the group card tonight. That's the incense that I lit. Keep expanding. Expand, expand, expand. The group card is, as Kenan said, the Order of Melchizedek. And as he said, this is the first priest in the Bible, but it's also very conducive. It means king of righteousness. So what is right for you? Create that expanse, expand those photons, expand your field to bring in or attract what is right for you. And so this is dedicated to all those. Melchizedek Melchizedek was dedicated to everybody on the path of light and to align with light. If you're in that confused, frustrated, angry state, your field is collapsing. So do whatever it takes. It could be yoga, it could do meditation, it could be essential oils, it could be incense, smudging, whatever it takes. Because Melchizedek is the head of the higher order of angels that are in charge of light. So bring those beings in and clear up any of the darkness, any of the anger, because there are beings that actually feed on anger, right? And give permission to your energy to be upgraded by light and to light. Okay. Laurel, I hope you're having an awesome day. We've got Laurel. Welcome. Abby, Marilyn, Lana, Marilyn Pitts, Austin, Lindsay, Edna. Thank you so much for being here. And again, if you missed the first part of the show, we are going to it's called Contact in the Desert in Palm Springs. And we're going to be there for about 4 or 5 days and meet up with some people, do some major networking. It'll be fun, but we're not going to be here Sunday night or Monday night. So we'll do a double reading for those of you that do your monthly for the monthly readings. We'll do a double reading for you on a week from tonight, and again on Sunday night. Okay, my dear Laurel. The first thing I see here is microphones. And it's funny because Kenan was, just before the show, he's like, maybe we need to switch microphones. In other words, I use his microphone, he used my microphone. This is you either investing or working with or getting a better sound system. It's going to happen. Or the microphones that you're using and how your voice reverberates through those microphones. Especially, well, obviously when you're performing. So you're also, Laurel, there's something about lighting a candle. And so I'll tell this story real quick, Laurel. A few years ago, my boss said he was going to go up to Sedona. Now, you guys stop me if you've heard this story, okay? But I think it's worth repeating. He was going up to Sedona. I said, oh, you're going to have a very mystical experience. And he just he didn't really believe anything I did. And he just kind of looked at me askance. I go, you know what? I don't care. Go up there. You're going to have a very bizarre experience. He goes, okay. Very left brain guy. So he goes up with his wife, and they have a cabin. And they go, one of the major vortexes where the energy is really high is around the red rocks of Sedona, but there's a chapel up there, beautiful chapel built into the rocks, and it's one of the highly most visited places in Sedona. So he goes up there, and his grandmother was in the hospital. So while he's in the chapel, he lights a candle for his grandmother. Now I'm going to tell this story for everybody. So Abby, Marilyn, Lana, Austin, Lindsay, Edna. So he lights the candle for his grandmother, and it's a red candle. It's a beautiful chapel. It's kind of unexplainable. Maybe I'll post pictures of it on Facebook. But as he's leaving the chapel and he's walking back to his car with his wife, his phone rings. And his grandmother had died 10 minutes before, exactly at the time that he was lighting his candle. So that night they get to their cabin, and it's in the woods. Like there's no ambient light around, no city lights, no car lights, nothing. And he goes to bed, and he wakes up in the middle of the night, and there's this bright red glow on the ceiling. And he gets up, and he's like checking all the windows. No light coming in from the windows. He actually gets up on a chair, and he's like, where's that light coming from? And his wife wakes up and sees it. She's like, where's that light coming from? Well, it was his grandmother acknowledging that he had lit a candle for her and in her name. So, Laura, my point of telling you this story is light a candle for what it is you do want. Light a candle for people maybe on the other side. Light a candle for people you love. Candles, that fire is photons. They're major condensed photons. And it will remind you of the light within. It will also spark your light and grow your light. So I don't know if this time of year you've lost somebody, but that's really coming through to light a candle for them. Okay.
Oh, so she has an angel candle she lights for her spirits.
Oh, good. You have an angel candle? That's perfect. Yeah, that's really perfect. Okay, good. All right, my dear Abby. Yin Yang change. Do you know what the Ouroboros, the snake that eats its tail? Can you talk for that a minute? I'll give you a minute to think about it. Ouroboros, yeah. Anyway, Abby, there's if you don't know what needs to change, universe, show me what needs to change, and then help me adjust to the change, whatever it takes. But it gets to a point where, the water pressure on the rock, and the rock's really solid. Eventually that water pressure changes the rock. It moves the rock. It increases the flow. There's more flow coming for you and less rocks. Less rapids. Let's put it that way. What's the Serenity Prayer 2? God grant me the. I know both you and Marilyn know this.
Strength to change the things I can.
God grant me the strength to change the things I can.
Serenity to
And base
accept the things I can't change.
and serenity
To accept the things
to
I
accept
can't
things
change.
I can't change. Yeah,
And
there
the
you go.
wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah, and the wisdom to know the difference. Okay. So the things that you can't change, back away from, Abby. Orvis?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot to say. About
Go
it. I
ahead.
don't know,
Go ahead,
just
and Kennan's going to jump on.
Okay, so on the thought, to pick up where he left off with this idea of change that the card is sort of depicting there, which I'll flip back to that, but change is the only constant in life, and there's a book that I really enjoy. It's Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. He talks about these aliens that are able to see time, the fourth dimension, like we're able to perceive the third dimension. Like we can look and see a mountain, they're able to look and see an entire person's lifetime in this string of events. Like they're a little baby at one end, and then they grow through their whole life, and then they are, a pile of ashes or whatever at the other. So this concept of time and this snake eating its own tail, it's basically this zoom out that needs to happen in order to understand a higher dimension. So I hope that makes sense if I'm putting that in a rational way. There's a great video that I used to recommend all the time that's still out there on YouTube. You can Google imagining the 10th dimension. It discusses these flatlanders who are only able to perceive and exist in 2 dimensions. And basically what we would look like to them, if they were able to perceive us, it would be like a flat line and then, a hollow object. If you have time, watch the video. I highly recommend it. That's all I have to say for now.
What's the snake eating its tail?
So the snake eating its own tail is time itself. Forgive me for not saying that out loud, and thank you. This concept of change is movement. So I don't know of a great way to explain this without relying on a lot of the knowledge that I've been lucky enough to learn with all of the science fiction and things I've read. So mathematically, if you think about, well, in string theory, they talk about how there are all of these multiple dimensions that we're not able to perceive, that we're existing in simultaneously, all the way up from 0 to 11. And there's this sort of snake, I guess is how I see it, where every choice that we make takes us in one direction or another, either up or down in vibrational frequency. We're carving our own path through time, if that makes sense. So each of us is we're our own snake that's in a way eating our own tail as we let go of the things we no longer need. We move on forward like a rocket propelling through space. So as a reminder, we're all in space right now. So good luck out there. I think I should probably stop talking and turn it back over to Christopher, but thank you for listening.
No, that was really good. That was really good, Kenan. But anyway, you've got these, the thing is you've got these changes coming, and sometimes it can make you, it's like jumping from a dock, which is solid, to a boat, which is, you've got to get your sea legs. This is getting your sea legs. And you're becoming more aware. Like Kenan was talking about the dimensions and the snake eating its tail, and you're moving through time and space. So sometimes we get a little dizzy, okay? But you're moving into other dimensions or other levels of understanding. Okay. All right, my dear Marilyn. So, Marilyn, I really get that your father's around you of late. So it would be good maybe to just even light a candle to acknowledge him. He actually, so somebody that is mentally challenged. You don't take them to a restaurant and expect them to behave like everyone else or study math, or they're mentally challenged. Okay, I think you got the picture, Marilyn. Your dad was somewhat limited in his thinking. And it's like you don't blame somebody that's mentally challenged. It's like lighting a candle and just even acknowledging that your purpose was like the arrow that leaves the quiver, right? I think Hafiz wrote about that. I think I write about it in my book. I have a quote from it. That children are meant to leave their parents and fly far beyond them. And I really feel like you've done a lot of great work around your dad. Like, I don't feel like there's any hang-ups there at all. This card is like him wanting to know he's forgiven. And this has kind of come up before. But he just is like telling me to tell you he was just really limited in his thinking, in his programming, in how he was raised, in his belief systems, and that nature nurture thing. And like, he treasures you. There's something really valuable here. Okay, if I get any more downloads, I'll call you or text you. All right, my dear Lanny. Got two cards. You've got the Princess of Cups. Cups is more about emotion. And then you've got the Virtue card. When you're feeling blue, feel purple instead. If you're feeling, I don't know what made me say that. If you're feeling blue, feel purple instead. Is that something Harley would say, or that kind of a quip? It was like a quip that just kind of came through, Lana. And it's like get up and go do something. Go get busy. And then there's something about Okay, I'm not leaving this purple thing. I'm sorry. There's something with purple here. Purple flowers, purple tablecloth, purple. What I don't know what the deal is with you and purple. I don't know what's purple. There was a song called Purple People Eater, right? Lana, when was that song released? Purple People Eater. And I can't. Can you tell me who it was by? I'll bet Lana, you would know. There's something important about this. Anyway,
Yeah, it was Sheb Woolley.
Chev Woolley in 1958.
Yeah, Sheb.
Sheb Woolley in 1958. So you would have been about maybe 13 or 14. I'm not giving you away your age. Sorry about that, but yeah, Sheb Woolley. Anyway, there's something really fun about that song, and it's kind of like you're needing. There's something about going into even the woods by your place and just going to sit in your church, because that's really your church. There's something to connect to there. And Fixie Flices is a favorite song of mine. That's too funny. Anyway, there's something about the joy of that song, or if you used to sing it, or somebody used to sing it with, that's coming through really strongly from the other side, that they're really with you. Yeah, the one-eyed, one-horned giant purple people eater. That was a favorite song when I was a kid. Okay, that's really cool. Thanks, Austin. Yeah, I'll have to talk to you about that, Lana. I think that's really interesting as to what that song means. All right, my dear Marilyn Pitts. It's devil card. It's the play card, Marilyn. This is bringing you the energy of lightening up, but also lighting up. It's like the candles, but lightening up and playing more. It's kind of, so it's funny because like with Marilyn, the Marilyn Abbey, her dad was coming through. It's like your parents coming through with this message that they wish they'd had more fun. They wish they'd gone and had more fun and not worried about things all the time. This is you letting go of the worry and going out and really doing things that you really love and having more fun. And more fun, more people. Oh my God, so you're going to the beach for the day and tomorrow to get away. Okay, that's perfect. And then, get a hold of like Marilyn and Abby. If you head down to Myrtle Beach, go down and have lunch with them. Because you guys would have a hoot. You'd have a lot of great things to talk about. But this is absolutely going to play. Really important for Larry. Really important for Larry. So that's just confirmation of going to the beach. And just kind of know that you're the old goat. GOAT stands for greatest of all time. You're the greatest of all time. And I love that. All right, Austin, here we go. So this is getting out judgment. So it's kind of like if you've ever had a court case and you win the court case, how good you feel. This is winning your own court case. Letting go of judgment on yourself and especially others. Because anytime that there's judgment on others, Austin, it can come back. It can come back to you. I used to be a very religious person. Then I left the church, but I still had like judgmental religious Klingons. I call them Klingons, like skin tags. They were just like energetic Klingons, hang-ons. This is you releasing all of that and moving more into more freedom. Yeah. It's you getting out of judgment. When you have judgment on someone else, that's a mirror. It's actually judgment on yourself. So pay attention, and I'm talking to anybody on the show. When you have judgment toward or about someone else, it's mainly judgment on yourself. And it's just like a bullet being fired in a steel room. That bullet eventually is going to zing around and come back. This is easing up on the judgment. And if there's any judgment on others, then please understand that it's letting go of judgment about yourself, of how things should be, could have been, should have been. Flush all that. And well, that's what this card is about. That's what's going to happen. Okay, you don't have to do anything. It's happening. It's moving the energy around this judgment, around moving that out of your field, so that you have more photons. You're Captain Photon. Yeah, let's all of us try to do our best to be Captain Photons. Okay, increase the photon field. Increase the photon field. All right, my dear Lindsay. Yeah, so this is kind of similar to Marilyn Pitts' card, Lindsay, about going to have more fun. Instead of saying I can't afford that, can you say, wait a minute, how can I afford this? And switch your thinking on it. It's completely changing tracks. How can I afford this? Universe, show me now. How can I afford this? How can we make this work? How can I have more pleasure in my life? What even gives me pleasure? And are you willing to avoid what does not bring you pleasure? Again, this is just letting go of old lessons. I'll tell you the story, Lindsay. So I used to have like 10 bookshelves. I'm down to 2 now. I had some of my Dick and Jane books for years. First and second grade books. Why? Why? I just don't need them anymore. I don't need those lessons anymore. It's just being aware of getting rid of what you no longer need. Oh, I've got that lesson. You're going to move on. And so if someone has termites, Lindsay, they've got to get a termite exterminator, and they've got to come and block up the holes. When you get annoyed or frustrated, that's an energetic termite of darkness, I'll call it, coming in to collapse your photonic field. So go, wait a minute, where is this feeling coming from? How long do I want to hang on to this? What's the cause of it? And clear it. Like sometimes you have to set off like a nuclear photonic blast in your system to get rid of that negativity, to get rid of those termites. All right, my dear Edna. Okay, so Edna, this is your art. Actually, it actually could be a man named Art coming into your life. Kind of cool. So there was something you saw at this convention you went to up in Vancouver area that sparked your artistry. And you know, the artistry can be painting, like with Lindsay, but it can also be like cooking. It can be anything with art. It can be reading, it can be writing. Like Lana has started writing. She's actually she's a really good artist when it comes to writing. Like it's really profound. But this is you moving more into your art. Okay. All right, my dear Tiffany. So this is the Tower card. The Tower card is where major change, right? It's the collapse of one way, like an old building, and moving into a new structure. But while the old building is being collapsed or torn down, it's not a really good feeling. So focus on what it's creating, what the collapse is creating, something new, a new opportunity. That's really important to understand that anytime molecules rearrange, it creates something new for you. There's something brand new coming down the pipe for you. Okay? Also, a chiropractor may help, massage therapy, hot and cold packs. Massage, yes. Really important for you. But also hot and cold packs. And heat is not good necessarily. A lot of heat is not really good for you. Yeah, I see you kind of even moving to a cooler climate, or at least having a part-time, like a cabin in a cooler place, or being more in a cooler place during the summer. Okay, my dear Teresa. Thanks for being here, Teresa. Victory. Victory. So, Teresa, it's okay to ask for help. And I'll probably have to call you on this one, but there's those that you've tried to help, you've done your best to help, but that have crossed over anyway because of drugs and alcohol. And again, I'm going to go back to the very beginning of the reading about lighting a candle. And then there are some that have progressed. They've progressed, but they're wanting to help you. Know that they're helping you, but it's appropriate to ask for their help. That's important. So I sense, like, I'll sense beings around me, or sometimes I'll see them. I get with you that there's this, now everybody's going to be different, but it could pertain to anyone else that's watching the show. There can be like these flashes of light, or sometimes like a candle, right? And that's not, you're not going crazy. That's actually how you perceive spirit. And I'm getting so in the Bible it talks about, like, at Pentecost there were flames that would appear above people's heads. Man, I have not thought of this in 30-40 years. There were flames that appeared above people's heads. And you're moving more back into your power around perceiving that. Okay, my dear Ashley Nicole, thank you for being here. So Ashley, what you're really doing is let me give you a metaphor. When you used to spill something on the floor, rather than mop it up, you just kind of laid it on the floor and ate it. you're moving past the stuff that you've spilled. You're moving past the stuff that was spilled on you. You've taken a shower, you've changed your clothes, you have this new beginning, and you're leaving all of that stuff, and you're not rolling in the sorrow. You're done. You're just done. You know what? I just spilled the beans here. I'm calling you, the maid. Come clean it up. It's okay to walk away from it. It's like, oh, well, that was a really interesting time in my life where, wow. But you're really moving on now, like in a major way. Yeah. You've got some oppiness. Yeah, you've got, this is the wedding card, this is the wedding cake card, this is the happiness card. Things are flowing. Things are like when you do knitting and you come across somebody that's knitting, you go, what are you making? They're like, oh, I'm making a hat, I'm making a socks or whatever. You go, I don't see that. But eventually you see it, right? You've taken long enough now to weave together a very happy life. You're moving into more of who you are and how to express that. It's in your genes, it's in your DNA. You got it, girl. Bye-bye, sorrow. Isn't that funny? You got the sorrow card and then you got the happiness card. Wow. Wow. I love it. All right. Love you all. Let's do this again. Remember, I'm going to remind you, we're going to this event in California, in Palm Springs. We will be back and do the show on Wednesday, a week from tonight, and then the following Sunday. And for those of you, like I say, that paid for the month, we'll do double readings for you. Love you all. Be very, very blessed. You are the light.